This is our presentation on the documentary Crowded Out. My name is Jessica Urig.
My name is Georgia Terrell.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Neinsall.
And I'm Nicole Papley.
The documentary Crowded Out is all about how over-tourism is destroying local communities and making it difficult for natives to coexist with tourists. Throughout the documentary, Justin Francis examines the impact that tourism has on communities around the world. In almost all communities he examined, locals found that they were being pushed out of their own homes and that tourism has changed their local culture for the worst. These communities were no longer about embracing local culture and supporting residents, but instead catering to the tourism industry at any cost. The documentary states that the number of tourists has risen by almost 1.3 billion from 1980 to 2017. This sharp rise in tourism has led to a lack of management in the tourism industry. This lack of management has led to the destruction of local communities because there are no regulations to be followed. Over-tourism is also leading to severe environmental damage. The documentary showcases the work of photographer Thomas Egley, who captured the changes to the environment over time at Paradise Island. The original photos showed a beautiful island with a small population of locals. However, photos from today show an overly crowded beach with a destroyed ecosystem. The island has turned into a literal trash pit. It's clear that tourism is doing more harm than good, and this documentary is all about bringing awareness to how tourism is negatively impacting communities. Hopefully, this documentary can inspire change in order to save the wonders of the world.
I'm going to be talking about the main issues in our chosen destination, which is Barcelona. The first issue in Barcelona that we came across is higher rent costs. This is because of the growing number of tourists. There is now a higher need for accommodation and hotels. There are now less apartments and homes, so the cost of rent is quickly rising. Higher rent costs are now pushing residents out of their own city, and tourists are being prioritized over the locals. The next issue in Barcelona that we came across is that local markets are disappearing. This is because markets are turning into souvenir shops and tourist stands, which are all specifically catered towards tourists. This is sadly driving away Barcelona's character and identity, and tourists are having to leave the city to find fresh food markets. The last issue that we came across is that infrastructure cannot cope. Infrastructure has to cater to thousands of people per day, and because of this, transportation systems are so overcrowded and cannot run as smoothly. Locals are unable to make a quick trip to get to work because they are held up by tourists, and over time, the quality of infrastructure will start to deteriorate.
Some of the contributing factors globally to over-tourism are a lack of government understanding about the negative impacts of tourism on the host destination, as we've seen in Venice and Barcelona, and the collusion between airlines, cruise ships, and governments to create artificially cheap flights and cruises. We've also seen how marketing has contributed to over-tourism. When a tourist spot becomes fashionable, travel companies jump on the bandwagon to heavily market this destination. Globally, tourist numbers are growing at 6% a year and increasingly faster in tourism hotspots. We can expect to see this number rise 20% very soon.
So some solutions to balance the issues associated with over-tourism would be to have new marketing destinations to reduce pressure in the most populated areas in Barcelona. The government will also be cracking down on illegal activities. So some landlords are charging tourists much higher prices than local residents, and they are having issues trying to figure out who is local and who is a tourist. And the mayor of Barcelona is also threatening to slash the cruise ship passenger numbers and limit the city's airport expansions. This would also limit the number of tourists coming into the country. And by doing this, they have hope that it will impact the environment and successfully heal the ecosystem. And by fixing this issue, they have to acknowledge that there is an over-tourism problem in the first place. And the local government is finally taking residents' complaints into consideration and are going to work on the over-tourism in the city and make it more of a city for their residents again.